So I just drew that phylogeny for you of the plants, but sometimes it's helpful to look at the same or similar data in a different form. So I'm going to draw a table of our 12 phyla of plants. And in this table, I'm going to put down, we're going to have major groups. We're going to have different phyla. We're going to say which is the dominant generation. We're going to say, do they have vascular tissue? Yes or no? Are they homosperous? Yes or no? Do they have seeds? Yes or no? And then do they have flowers and fruits? Because remember, these always go together. Flowers and fruits always go together. So we don't need to have two separate columns for that. I'm going to carefully try and just the thing that's going to take the most room is probably the phylum name. All right, and we've got 12 phyla. So we'll cut that in half. Cut that in thirds-ish. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We cut each of those sixths in half. And it almost looks just like we might have just printed it right off of Excel. Just kidding, not really. But this will serve our purpose. Okay. And I'm going to draw them out kind of in a similar order to how I did them in that phylogeny, starting with the non-vascular plants. Non-vascular, or NV. I'm going to start with the Bryophyta, which you should recall are our true mosses. Not club mosses, not Irish moss, not Spanish moss. Bryophyta, their dominant generation is going to be gametophyte. And from here on out, if it's gametophyte dominant, I'm just going to put a G, just like for non-vascular, I'm going to put NV. Non-vascular plants, are they vascular? Oh, of course they're not. Are they homosperous? Do they have one type of spore? Yes, they are. Do they have seeds? No, they don't. And they don't have flowers or fruits either. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for each of our phyla here. So we're going to include our two other non-vascular phyla. We can fill that in. Just for grins, I'm going to put Hepatophyta down next. Hepatophyta is also going to be gametophyte dominant. It's also going to be non-vascular, right? It is also homosperous, so no seeds, no fruits or flowers. And that's going to be true for our third phylum. And just to mix things up, I'll add those data in first, and then what am I going to write here? Starts with A, ends with Angiosperms. Angiosperms, or your hornworts. And that concludes our three non-vascular phyla and these things that we need to know. As you can see, not a lot of variability in here. Our next major group is going to be seedless vascular plants. which I'll abbreviate as SV. I'll call them SVP. I've got room to write all that. And this time I'm going to start with the Lycophyta. And one thing we should know is that when we transition from being non-vascular to vascular, we become sporophyte dominant. Vascular? Well, seedless vascular, so yeah. Now, Lycophyta is going to be a weird one because some Lycophyta are homosperous, other Lycophyta are heterosperous. So we can say yes and no. And it's the only phylum we're going to see that in, where it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. They're seedless, so follows that nope, they don't have seeds. And flowers and fruits go along with seeds, we will find. Well, not always, but if you have fruits and flowers, you got to have seeds. You don't necessarily have to have flowers and fruits if you have seeds, as we will see when we get to the Gymnosperms. Okay, so our next phylum of SVP, part of the Monolophyta. We'll go ahead and just put down Pteridophyta, our true ferns. They're going to be sporophyte dominant. They're going to be vascular. These are also homosperous, only one type of spore, as opposed to being heterosperous and having two types of spores. No seeds, no flowers or fruits. What should I put down next for our seedless vascular plants? I got one of two choices. I'll go ahead and put Equisitophyta here. Equisitophyta. Sporophyte dominant, vascular, homosperous, no seeds, no fruits or flowers. And our fourth phylum of seedless vascular plants would be, can you remember? Starts with a silent P, Psilophyta. Again, sporophyte dominant, vascular, homosperous, no seeds, no flowers, no fruits. Now we're going to pop on over to our Gymnosperms. Which I'm going to abbreviate as G, not to be confused with gametophyte dominant, but in this column, G is going to be for Gymnosperm, and this one is going to be for gametophyte dominant, which we're done with gametophyte dominance anyway, so hopefully we're going to stay clear on that. For phyla here, we've got our Coniferophyta. They're going to be sporophyte dominant, vascular. Are they going to be homosperous or heterosperous? Here's the thing. If you have seeds, you have to be heterosperous. You have to have two different types of spores, a big spore and a small spore. So no, they are not homosperous, they are heterosperous. Do they have seeds? You betcha. These are naked seed plants. But do they have flowers or fruits? No, they do not. Another phylum of Gymnosperms. The cycads, which again are sporophyte dominant. They're vascular. They are heterosperous. They do have seeds. They do not have flowers or fruits. Following along in alphabetical order, next we would put the Ginkgophyta. Only one species left in the Ginkgophyta. We've got lots of fossil evidence of other species of ginkgos. But we're just one species away from not having to learn about them because they'd be extinct. But that's not going to happen because people love ginkgos. We take great pride in being able to plant ginkgos in places. They're a pretty hardy tree. But they're going to basically line up just like all these other Gymnosperms. One more phylum of Gymnosperms, which starts with Nito, it ends with phyta. Nitophyta, sporophyte dominant, vascular, heterosporous, does have seeds, does not have flowers or fruits. So then we're going to get to a singleton down here for our major groups. Singleton. And we're going to find that our angiosperms are covered seed plants. One single phylum, but it's a biggie, the biggest by far, the Magnoliophyta, sometimes called Anthophyta. I'm not going to call it that. I prefer Magnoliophyta. It's a better name for a number of reasons. It's going to be sporophyte dominant, as are all of our vascular plants. It's going to have to be heterosporous because it produces seeds. And finally, we're going to find an autapomorphy of the angiosperms. An unshared derived trait is having flowers and fruits. Okay, so that completes our table of the plants. These are all important things that we need to know about our 12 phyla of plants. Thanks for drawing along with me.